Uncanny X-Men 132 and Dark Phoenix Saga Episode 4. There is a ton of action of every kind. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Long Box Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the Long Box. Now, it is the Uncanny X-Men issue 132, which is the Dark Phoenix Saga, the fourth book in the Dark Phoenix Saga. And the cover on this book is just fantastic. It's got the Hellfire Club standing in the background and kind of piling the X-Men on top of each other in the middle of the room. And just very clearly, we know who won that contest. So the writer of this is Chris Claremont, the penciler John Byrne, and they have a writer, co-plotters, penciler. And these Dark Phoenix Saga is one of my favorite X-Men sagas, and this was or story arcs, and this was a really good one. And now we're getting into, they found Dazzler, they found Kitty Pryde, they were able to rescue the team in different situations because the Hellfire Club actually attacked them. So now they're back at base and they're deciding, hey, we need to figure out what the Hellfire Club is, what they're about, and why they came after us. So we start out at Warren Worthington's home, and you can tell this book is from the 80s. If you just look at what Warren's wearing, this headband, sweatbands, the long knee-high socks with the colored bands around it. Oh my soul! So he flies in. And he, excuse me, still have that little bit of a cough, almost done. And he comes in, he greets everybody, but he greets Jean Grey with a full-on grab her chin and smooch her. And of course, his girlfriend standing right there, Candy Southern, and she's like, "Keep it up, Wings." And Scott is going to be the least of your worries. So his girlfriend standing right there. And he goes on full on, hold the chin, kiss Jean Grey. Yeah, I don't know what the guy's deal is, but he's pretty friendly. So he grabs Scott, hey, we need to talk some more private, and they fly out to a mountain. And Scott kind of like gives him the rundown. Hey, something's up with Xavier, something's up with the Hellfire Club. This is what happened. You kind of get a rundown of what happened up to this point. We see the Phoenix. Full manifestation of the Phoenix while she's fighting Emma Frost. And Warren's like, hey, I can get you into the club. I'm a member of the club. Candy and I visited it once a long time ago, but I am definitely a member of the club, and I can get you in there, and we can go in and figure out what's going on. So at this point, of course, they're out like, it looks like Arizona or something. They're out in the mesas, sitting on top of a plateau of some sort. And then Jean Grey shows up with a basket. Apparently it's date time. And so Warren takes off. He was like, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm not needed here. And Jean changes into a bikini for some sort. And, of course, Scott's still wearing his full-on leotard uniform. And she lifts his visor up. And she's able to, prevent his eyes from actually shooting those optic blasts. And they end up kissing. So now Jean Grey, this is the second dude she has kissed in this issue. Just this issue. Second guy she's kissed in just this issue. And so now we flip over and we see back in Manhattan, near the Avengers Mansion, we have Nightcrawler and Wolverine are down in the sewers. And they're kind of sneaking into the Hellfire Club from beneath. So they're going through the sewers. Wolverine kind of slashes some of the lines. So when the water hits, it will spark and actually turn the electricity off. At least that's his plan. I don't know why he expects the water to rise like that much. I don't know if it didn't actually. Well, it is raining, so maybe it'll rise that much. And so the rest of the team actually drive up. We've got Jean Grey and Cyclops, Colossus and Storm are all there. Warren Worthington's dressed up in his uniform, sitting with Xavier back at the mansion. And they all kind of walk in, and it's very Victorian. The whole place is Victorian. They got coatmen, door guards, door holder, all dressed in the old Victorian Revolutionary style. And they take their coats and they walk in. and it's just odd. We see, Donald Pierce is down below with the other members of the inner club, the Hellfire Club inner circle, and they can see Scott come in with Jean Grey. And they're like, okay, you, Weingard, have been saying you can take control of her. You need to prove that you can do that now. You need to go up and take control of her. And then they split the others up between them. So Weingard comes in, Jean Grey and Scott are dancing, and Weingard comes up and taps her on the shoulder, spins around, and she is now back in the Revolutionary time. And she is now married to Weingard in her head. Scott, of course, looks like some revolutionary horse messenger dude. And he's thinking in his head, why again? I met that guy when with Dazzler, he was kissing him. Now here we are again, and I know something's going on. There's some time slips within Jean's memory, but he's still feeling some serious jealousy. And he spins around and takes her upstairs, and Scott's like running after her. He's like, hey, Weingard, mastermind, because he realizes who this dude is. And then he just gets laid out by Jean Grey. And now she is in her official Black Queen outfit. And she just wipes out Scott. Now at the same time, Colossus and Storm actually hears this going on. He armors up. She just, back into her uniform. I didn't know all of them could change uniforms this fast. I thought Jean did it for them, but now that Jean is not on their team anymore, I don't know how they can do this. I'm probably missing something. But they go upstairs and there's Sebastian Shaw. Now, if you remember, Sebastian Shaw is basically any force directed against him, it makes him stronger. And he basically can't really beat him with straight up physical force. So Colossus comes up and hits him. And he's like, Lennon's ghost, my blow had no effect. And Sebastian, excuse me. Sebastian's like, hey, I can take any of your punches you throw at me, and it turns around and makes me stronger. So he jumps over to Colossus. Colossus kicks him, and he just grabs his foot, spins him around, smashes him through walls, smashes him into Storm. Storm barely moves out of the way, and she's like, how in the world am I gonna, how do we take care of this dude? All right, so down below into the sewers, Nightcrawler and Wolverine meet up with Donald Pierce and Henry Leland. Now, Donald Pierce is a cyborg. So when Wolverine goes to chop off, save Nightcrawler, because Donald Pierce had grabbed Nightcrawler by the throat, was holding him up. Wolverine goes to chop his arm off, and does, but it actually realizes he's got a bunch of wires in there, and he hits Wolverine, knocks him across the room. He goes, "I am a cyborg. I am a cybernetic organism, part man, part machine, a living being with the power of the Juggernaut." That dude's strong. Okay, and I love this line. Of course, I don't know if it aged well, but it says, "You may be the $6 million man, bub, but when I'm done with you, $6 billion won't be enough to put you back together again." Now, I found that funny, but I know who the $6 million man is. So, and then Leland comes up. Now, Leland's power is to basically increase your density and mass to make you basically heavier, and he starts doing that with with Wolverine's adamantium in his body, and he basically just crumbles through like 4 or 5 floors right back into the sewer. Of course, the farther away he gets from Leland, the less he weighs again. So he gets back to that. We have Storm flying through the castle building, whatever they're at, and of course Sebastian Shaw grabs her. She goes to kick him, and he just kind of slams her down, and then he just like punches her right in the face. And she is out. Or maybe it was the back of her head. And she's out. He just drags her off. And so they basically come into the room, and the rest of the Hellfire Club is there in that room. And you got Colossus is already on the floor, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and they kind of toss Storm right up onto the top of the pile. And of course, Tess is there too. She puts the robe back onto Sebastian Shaw. And then they all basically toast. They say, "Pierce, Weingard, that's enough. Both of you, as chairman of the Inner Circle, I, Sebastian Shaw, propose a toast to the Hellfire Club and to our Black Queen. Long may she reign." And all we see is way down in the sewer. We get back to the sewer. Way down in the sewer, you see a hand come up and grab a vine. And we get this is a great looking panel of Wolverine. One of my favorite. It says, "Okay, suckers, you've taken your best shot. Now it's my turn." And he's got, water running all over him. He's got the great of shadow over his body, and his claws are out, and he's looking up. Great looking panel. Now, overall, It was a great issue. A lot happened. Wolverine, Warren Worthington looks like an idiot from the 80s. Act like an idiot. We see Jean Grey kiss three different dudes in this issue. Wolverine's looking cool, and I mean, a lot of cool stuff. A lot of fight scenes. Sebastian Shaw just knocking people around. I mean, he beat Colossus and Storm. Donald Pierce just like the power of the Juggernaut just knocked Wolverine's like across the room. Great stuff. So this was a good issue, and now we're getting to the pinnacle of this. You know, we're up to where she's about to become the Phoenix because they've been messing with her mind, and she is now completely swapped over to the Dark Queen, the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club. So Dark Phoenix is coming soon. So I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time here in the Long Box.